With summer right around the corner, it's time to be outside. And if you're trying to be outside like me, we got to get those summer bodies ready. If you need help, I got you. And summer body loading right now. Welcome back to another episode of the Chef Boy RDN podcast with your host, Chef Boy RDN. And today we are talking all about, I'm telling you my truth today. Telling you how I lost 20 pounds in 3 months uh, the right way, the dietetics way. Sometimes people will lose sight of health for weight management, and that just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of times I'll have people come in my office. Now, this isn't all the time, this isn't everybody, but I'll do a nutrition assessment as a dietitian. Basically, we talk about all of your business from a nutrition standpoint, and I get a history from you. I see what your goals are, and then together we come up with a game plan, right? So one of my first questions is always, what do you want out of talking with the dietitian, or what are some of your goals? I can't tell you how many times I have their chart like right in front of me, list of chronic diseases, and they'll say, well, I want to lose like 10 to 15 pounds. And I'm like, okay, is there any other goals? And they're like, no, not really. Okay. You don't want to get the hemoglobin A1C down. You don't want to get the blood pressure controlled. You don't want to get the high cholesterol down a little bit. And they'll be like, I mean, yeah, that too, right? And so it would be one thing if it was all in tandem, which some people will do. They'll say, I want to lose weight, but I want to lose weight because I want to get these numbers down. Or I want to get these numbers down and I want to lose weight. Or some people say, I don't really care about the weight loss. If it happens, it happens, but I want to get these numbers down. All of that to say, health has to take first priority. So just keep that in mind as we talk about weight management. I wanted to talk about this specifically, though, because I get a lot of questions. I get it. I'm a dietitian. That's literally like, if you're a dietitian, you know, that's one of the main questions you get when you tell people what you do is, how can I lose weight? Right? So I thought this would be a great episode to do it. And I'm going to just tell you how I did it. So for me, during the pandemic, I was going to school. Well, I was finishing up school, actually. I kind of finished right as it was all happening. And I was working full time. I was getting ready to turn 30 during all of this time. I know I'm telling my age. And I don't know, life just hit. I ended up gaining like maybe 40 pounds. And it didn't necessarily bother me because, yeah, I probably was a little lax on my diet, but for the most part, I still tried to prioritize vegetables. I tried to prioritize protein. I've always been a big water drinker. I've always loved fruit and vegetables. So those things weren't issues for me. I'm also not a super, now I do have a sweet tooth. It gets crazy. But besides that, I don't really drink sodas and stuff like that. So my health, and when I would go get my physicals, my health was perfectly fine. So the weight for me was never a big concern because my health was good. Okay. So at the beginning of last year, um, or at the end of last year, I just decided for my birthday, you know, I wanted to get like 20 pounds down. I thought it was time. I had just gotten away from a crazy job like a year ago, and life was just in a good place for me to prioritize the actual weight loss. So I started in January, and by March, I reached my goal. And so these are all of the things that I did to get there. Number one, as we just talked about, I prioritize my health first. And when we talk about health, I'm really talking about health from a whole perspective. So, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all of those things are very important before we even get to the weight management of it all. If you are just trying to lose weight by any means necessary and you really aren't changing your life, it's not going to be beneficial in the long run. So just keep that in mind. Okay. The second thing that I did to lose weight was put myself in a calorie deficit. So you can literally do this a couple different ways. The easiest way to do it, it's the easiest way, but it's the most tedious way, and that's by tracking. You can get a tracker app. I did. I used Chronometer. Shameless plug. Y'all need to pay me. But I used Chronometer and I tracked my food intake throughout the day. And so basically, what I did was I put myself in about a 500 calorie a day deficit. And you can do anywhere from like 500 to like 800 calorie deficit and be okay. Um, and I prioritized, you know, times of day that I ate, but also what I was fueling my body with. Because there are a lot of things that will help satisfy you and keep you fuller longer. And then there are things that you can go through a bunch of it and you like, I'm still hungry. Where did it go? Right. So with the calorie deficit, um, you can use those apps, or you can just start getting rid of high calorie foods that's in your diet. One of the easiest ones to get rid of is high sugary beverages. I tell people all the time that come in my office, the one of the easiest things to lower your daily caloric intake, if you're a big juice or soda drinker, is to completely cut that out. Being mindful of what you're drinking, trying to drink water as your main source. We talked about water on the water episode, so that'll go back and listen to that. That'll tell you how much water you should have in a day, but really making the switch to water. And if you need something sweet, having a sugar free beverage of some kind. Now, I will tell you, as I said earlier, I'm not a big soda drinker on a regular basis. I'm going to be honest with you though, when I was specifically in the calorie deficit and trying to lose weight, I drank soda more and I drank the sugar free soda just to help with some of my sugar cravings, right? So if you need it, use those, the zeros, the diet, whatever it is. Sodas are very high in sugar. And they're what we call empty calories. So you get calories, but you don't have the sensation of feeling full. And so you will continue to eat. I promise you, you will feel 200 calories worth of chicken breast all day before you feel 200 calories worth of Coke. And y'all, Coke people, let me be honest with you. Coke, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Mountain Dew. It's ridiculous, especially Coke, but the other ones too. The addiction, guys, we got to talk about it. I have one lady who has type 2 diabetes who I'm working with, and she could not let the Coke go. Like, sat in my office and went back and forth with me about why she couldn't get rid of the Coke. And she needed to. Like, her diabetes was really uncontrolled at this point. And so we talked about alternatives, looking at Coke Zero, looking at uh, um, uh, Diet Coke, looking at different other zero and diet dark beverages that could maybe take the place. And then, of course, we mainly talked about switching to water, right? Flavoring it, doing whatever you need to do. But we gotta, and I'm glad I'm not in my office. I'm talking to y'all, so we can talk honestly, right? In my office, sometimes I put the knee pads and the elbow pads and the braces and all that stuff on, and I present it in this nice way. But let's be honest, grow up and drink water. Grow up and drink water. Water is good for you. I've never not liked water, so I can't understand when people say, I just don't like the taste of water. So I can empathize in the fact that I've never had that experience. But with that being said, I have had things that I just don't like the taste of, like medicine. But guess what? When I'm sick, I take it. And especially if I have a cold or something, to be honest with you, if I do have to take medicine, I'm taking the nasty liquid stuff over a pill any day because I just have better um, outcomes with that. But that stuff is disgusting. I hate it. But guess what? I take it and I get better. Just think of water as something essential that you need in your body. And if you are a person who just can't fathom the idea of drinking water, flavor it with berries, flavor it with strawberries, raspberries, pineapples, whatever you have to do. But you need to be drinking water, especially if you're over the age of 18. Like, we grown now. Come on, man. What are we doing? For real, drink some water. So the other thing is, obviously, if you are drinking alcoholic beverages, you definitely want to cut that out. It's just very high in calories. It's not worth it. I could go on and on and on. But if you are trying to manage your weight, that's something that is just going to work against you. Okay. After that, the other thing that I did, and this goes back to putting myself in a calorie deficit but staying satisfied or satiated, I prioritized protein and fiber. Protein was very important because I also was exercising during this time. So as I was losing weight, I didn't want to lose my muscle mass, but I wanted to lose the fat, right? And so prioritizing protein is definitely going to help with that. I have a whole protein episode that you can go back and listen to, and it'll tell you where to get the protein. It'll tell you how much. I will tell you, I'm starting with zero point 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per kilogram, and I'll tell you on the other episode, I'll show you how to do that calculation. But that's definitely going to help you with your protein overall. Protein is going to help you feel fuller longer. So if you are prioritizing protein, there was a study, actually a couple of studies that looked at having effective protein rich breakfasts. And what they found was when you have like 25, 30 grams, it might have been more, but I know it was somewhere around 25 to 30 grams of protein for breakfast. It actually kind of sets your day up where you're not feeling as hungry as quick. You're you don't deal with like sugar cravings and things like that as much. So prioritizing protein is very important. The other thing is fiber. Fiber is the GOAT for a reason. When you eat fiber, is 0 calorie. Obviously, fiber is mixed in with other things within a food. So those things have calories, but the fiber portion of it, no calories, but it fills you up. It feeds your microbiome. It helps to prevent bloating. It helps you to stay regular and go to the restroom. And so fiber is going to be super, super important. Just don't mix lilies and red beans and rice and fruits and vegetables. It will not end well unless you are a person that eats that much fiber on a regular basis. But you definitely want to do that. It helps with your muscle retention and it helps promote more fat loss overall. The next thing goes hand in hand with that protein, which is exercising. So prior to that, for the whole year before, I had been fairly consistent in the gym. Hiccups would happen here and there, but I was at least going about 2 to 3 times a week at the gym, and I was weight training and a little bit of cardio and things like that. Prior to that, a few years back, I had a shoulder injury. And so it made me very self conscious in the gym because the weights that I used to be able to push with my shoulders, I just couldn't. So when I came back to doing more strength training about a year ago, I'm talking about it was to the point where I was almost just only chest pressing the bar. It was kind of sad. But I kept pushing and I pushed through those thoughts, which is another thing. Gym fright and gym anxiety is real. One thing that really helped me out is just reminding myself that these folk don't know what they're doing either. I promise. I promise. You see, if you see any of those gym videos, I've seen a lot of things in person in my gym. People don't know what they're doing. And guess what? Do I care or do I even talk about them? No. So why would I think that they care or they're talking about me? Right. So what's more important is just to work on form so that you can reduce injuries, right? And trying to progressively load as you can, meaning adding more weight as it makes sense. Resistance training, training with weights, weight training is going to be probably one of the best. It helps you to burn calories really efficiently, activating all those muscles. But it don't even matter. Whatever you do to be physically active, just be physically active. So once I decided that I wanted to, go on this weight loss journey, I got in the gym at least 4 times a week. I had a gym partner. I think that's the next thing we talk about, accountability partners, right? Um, I had a gym partner, and when I didn't want to go, he would call me and be like, "This how he talk, man. You going to the gym today, man?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, man. I guess I'm going or whatever, right?" And we would get in the gym, we would go, and once I got to the gym, I was fine. So sometimes you need that accountability partner just to help push you. Those people are going to be very important. And so I went to the gym, like I said, 4 times a week. And one thing that helps with that is really kind of setting yourself up for success by um, picking days of the week that you plan to go, picking the time that you plan to go. Already have the at least what areas of your body you plan to work out. And if you could actually have the movements that you plan to do before you go to the gym, that's even better. The more you plan, the less you can plan to fail. The less you plan, the more you plan to fail, right? So make sure that you're defining what you're doing before you get there. Because I've been a person in the past, especially when I wasn't as motivated to go to the gym. If I got there and I didn't really have a game plan and it was crowded, or I don't know, the music was off, or I forgot my water bottle, whatever it was, any little thing, I legit would just go to the sauna for about 15 minutes and walk out. So the more that you plan, the more realistic it is that you're going to follow that plan through. The other thing about physical activity is don't overdo it, right? So basically, the recommendation from the CDC is 150 minutes a week, which equates for most people to about 30 minutes 5 times a week. So I don't care if that's walking, running, biking, dancing around your house. Just make sure whatever it is something where you are getting that heart rate up to at least 120 beats per minute and you getting a good sweat on. Don't, do 2 laps around the house and say, oh, that's all I can do when you knew it wasn't. Now, if that realistically is all you can do, that's a different thing. But really try to push yourself in that way. The other thing is consistency and discipline. So, one of the biggest ways, and I talk to my people about this all the time, one of the biggest ways to build discipline is when you are first motivated to just do it. Just do it. I never forget, I had a job that I was working that I absolutely hated. And I used to I would say, do this trick where I would lay in the bed because it'll be hard for me to get out the bed at this job. It really was not great. But I would lay in the bed and I would find myself late, but I was up. I was up with more than enough time, but I just kind of laid in bed and I'd be either late or close to late. And so what I started doing was I just simply told myself, okay, you're going to get up in 1, 2, 3. And as soon as I popped up after that, it made it easier for me to just go ahead and do what I needed to do to get out the house. I want you to do the same thing. If this is the motivation that you need, pause it right now. Take this and finish this at the gym. Pause it right now. Go start walking around your neighborhood, walk around your house, whatever you need to do while you are motivated to start that physical activity. Start then. Do not wait, because as motivation waxes and wanes, our discipline waxes and wanes. But if we develop and we stay consistent through our motivational phase, guess what we are building? Discipline. So that when our motivation starts to wane, that discipline kicks in and we keep going, we keep pushing. So you got to make sure that you try to be as consistent as possible. Also, expect obstacles. Life ain't perfect. If you're going outside and one day all of a sudden it rains and you can't work out, do a walk outside in your neighborhood, then find something to do around the house. YouTube should be your best friend for home workouts. It has hundreds and hundreds of videos. People who trying to get some type of following doing exercise videos, just like I'm trying to get, a type of following doing these nutrition videos. But there's a lot of people out there who are working out. They got 15-minute workouts, 5-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts, HIIT, cardio, calisthenics, weights, no weights, waistbands, elastic bands, whatever it is. Just look for those things so that you can stay consistent. Also, mindset. Mindset is going to be super, super, super important. Making sure that you just have the right mindset when it comes to what you are doing. mindset, one thing I tell people is one of the biggest things that works against a lifestyle change overall is ourselves, the negative talk, right? Make sure that you are allowing yourself to be positive. Keep your mind in a positive state. The other thing is non-scale victories are a real thing. I don't care what anybody tells you. One of the things to think about when it comes to non-scale victories is doing what I call the prison pitches. Go ahead and get in some clothes that you're comfortable in or that might actually be too tight, and then take the frontward facing picture, side picture, other side picture, and turn to the back and take that picture, and then keep that, in a folder for yourself, obviously, and track it month over month. See how your body changes. Look at your face, look at your abs, whatever it is, and see how your body's shifting. The reason why is because sometimes the scale, not even sometimes, a lot of times the scale will fail you. Have y'all ever heard of the swoosh effect? So let's talk a little bit about the swoosh effect. The swoosh effect is, it's actually something that really happens in your body, but it's the swoosh effect is the name that somebody kind of came up with. It's not necessarily the medical term. But what happens is, as you are working out and you're staying in a calorie deficit, because I didn't say this earlier, but all a calorie deficit is that you are putting out more energy than you're taking in. So there are multiple ways to do that, right? Number one is lessening the amount of energy that you're taking in. Number two is increasing the amount of energy that you're putting out. And number three is doing both at the same time. So increasing physical activity, also reducing maybe some of the food that you eat, right? Now, back to the swoosh effect. As we are losing weight, our body will actually, eventually, our fat cells will start to shrink and basically die. But before they shrink, what they do is they release the fat out of those cells. And then our body, as a holding thing, it actually fills that fat up with water. So water weight is a real thing, right? We know that. And your body is so smart, and it goes into survival mode. It says, hey, I got to keep these fat cells for when we get more energy in so I can store more fat, right? And so it says, well, I'm going to put water in here to hold that space. Eventually, if you keep pushing yourself and staying consistent and staying motivated and doing the things you need to do to lose weight, that water will leave and those cells will actually die. And what they call the swoosh effect is one day you literally wake up and the scale might be stagnant, and then it just kind of drops. And you like, what happened? Or you might just look at yourself one day and say, oh my God, I am slimming down, right? What happened? Well, the swoosh effect happened. So weight loss, the progress of weight loss has been happening this whole time, but you just got to the point where a lot of those cells finally were able to release and die. And so that's why it's important to be consistent, keep a good mindset, make sure that you are having somebody to hold you accountable, making sure that you get a friend, you get a coach. The progress pictures are going to be key. You can even do measurements, right? The last thing, and one of my favorite parts of it, was finding substitutions. So I told y'all I got a sweet tooth. But bigger than a sweet tooth, I got a chip obsession. I love chips. So for Chef Boy RDN Tries It, I'm actually going to show you some of my real life substitutions that I use. So just hold on, and I'll be right back. I am back with Chef Boy RDN Tries It. So I got a whole smorgasbord of things to talk about that I use for substitutions. Some of them I'm gonna taste it on camera, and some of them not so much. But we're gonna go ahead and start off with these. Now, y'all saw the Unreal coconut bar on one of the episodes I did, right? The little minis. This is good because it's good for portion size. It's only about 70 calories per serving, and it's just a good little treat. This is Unreal as well, and this is basically their take on a Snickers. Snickers, I don't really eat them often, but when I want them, I want them. So I had a 5 pack of these. I still have 4. And I've had this pack for a minute. So that lets you know I don't eat it often. Same thing with this. The pack is still filled up. But when I do want some type of chocolate, I have those. Next thing, this is just a zero sugar drink. I am not anti zero sugar drinks. Just stick with the 80-20. So let 80% of your water be water, and that last 20% have a field day. Obviously, not with high sugary beverages, but with whatever else. So this was just a zero sugar summer edition watermelon and strawberry soda 7-Up. Fire. These are crispy edamame, roasted edamame. And the cool thing about these are they are like a nut replacement. So I like nuts. Nuts are not bad for you at all, but they are high in calories. They're high in calories. And a serving size is like a fourth a cup. For a fourth a cup is pretty decent amount of calories. This, you get a third of a cup. It's 14 grams of protein for that 1/3 of a cup and 5 grams of fiber. So it's a good high protein, high fiber snack. And obviously, I'm not against soy either, unless you are allergic to soy, but soy is perfectly fine. So it's just it's literally dry roasted edamame pieces. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And it's crispy, and it's just a crispy crunch. Tastes delicious. So I use that. This is just the regular salted one, but I think they do have different flavors. The next thing, which I've talked about before, are pitted dates. I used these before I got into the Unreal chocolate. I was using these as my sugar replacement. And so they just look like basically it look like a big raisin. And it's chewy, kind of almost has a caramelly kind of flavor. And it's really good with a little bit of flaky sea salt on it. Delicious. Had to finish that. My mom wouldn't want me talking with food in my mouth. So my last thing, lifesaver, goat. This is chips. I like salt and vinegar. I like all different forms of hot chips. If I'm keeping it 100% with you, and these high fry. I mean, I'm a child of the 90s and early 2000s. Come on. So this is just bagged air popped popcorn, and it has jalapenos on it. And these are just pickled jalapenos. Jalapenos, you do have to watch out for the salt because they're pickled, but they don't have a lot of calories at all. I think it's like for one serving size of jalapenos, it might be 5 calories. And then popcorn is an amazing substitution for chips. Chips, a serving size is about 1 ounce, 28 grams. And if you know what an ounce is of chips, that's like 13 chips. 13 chips, that's it. Who's eating 13 chips? Nobody. Popcorn, one serving size is going to be, especially of just plain air popcorn with a little bit of salt on it, it's 3 cups, 3 whole cups. And that's one serving size. It's only 135 calories. Okay. So over half the calories for like 3 times the volume of chips, popcorn. And so what I just do, I literally take a little jalapeno mixed into like 3 pieces of popcorn, and we go to town. It's perfect. It's salty, vinegary, spicy. So it is all of my favorite chips basically combined. Hot chips, salt and vinegar chips. What else could you ask for? Don't knock it till you try it. So these are all of them, well, just a few to be honest, of my substitutions. If you want some more substitutions, just leave some comments down below and I'll see what I can do to get you a good list of substitutions, especially if you leave a comment on YouTube. Um, so that is Chef Boy RDN Tries It. And now we are back for the vitamin of the week. Now, the vitamin of the week this week actually isn't a vitamin at all. It's a mineral and it's called chromium. So with chromium, what it does in the body is it actually supports blood sugar balance and metabolism. It also can help with your cravings and energy. It helps you to efficiently use your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats so that your body can utilize them for energy properly. It also enhances insulin, so it helps with your insulin response. Some studies have even found that it helps to reduce cravings and your appetite. So, a lot of supplements will say they have chromium in it. And it has been proven to help to reduce appetite and cravings, but only in a moderate amount. So, it's not some big, mega magical drug in that way, but it can help. Um, there is no official upper limit, but high doses can cause side effects. So you want to be mindful of that. Now, when we look at foods that actually have chromium in it, you can find it in broccoli, grapes, grape juice, whole grains, whole grains like oats and barley. You can actually also find it in potatoes, green beans, and meat, and especially that magical organ meat that we almost say that you can find almost every vitamin and mineral in, which is liver. You definitely find chromium in liver. And then the last thing is brewer's yeast. We don't really use brewer's yeast a lot here in America, but they do use it other places for various things. But you can find it in that. Now, the interesting thing is between different vegetables, it could be the same vegetable. So let's say broccoli, right? um, Chromium is found in different amounts depending on how much chromium is in the soil. So they do get it and uptake it kind of like everything from the soil, but it really can vary in how much they have. So when it comes to deficiencies, it's very rare in healthy people. But if you do end up with a deficiency, you will have poor blood sugar control, increased cravings, fatigue, and anxiety. And high dosage, uh, it doesn't necessarily cause a toxicity if you take one big high dose, but if you continue to take high doses over a long period of time, it actually can cause liver and kidney damage. And so when it comes to supplementation, to be honest, you really don't have to supplement chromium. You get it enough from your meats and foods and vegetables that you eat. And honestly, your body doesn't need a lot of it. But it does really help with managing cravings and things like that. So make sure you're eating some broccoli, maybe get some liver in there, and you'll definitely get enough chromium from that. I want to thank you for spending today with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you getting your summer body loaded. Mine's is definitely on its way. And I'm 20 pounds down, but this is just the beginning. We'll see how far I go. So remember, all of the things we talked about today, picking good, wholesome food, balancing your meals, all of those things also make a huge impact. Picking good protein and fiber, prioritizing one thing I didn't say, but whole foods. Lock in on whole foods, fruits, vegetables, all those things, so that you can go ahead and get ready for your summer body. Physical activity. Go ahead and today, again, while you're highly motivated, go get up and go do something. Once you get done doing something, meet me back here next week where we will talk about the truth about fruits. We're going to talk all about fruit and we're going to dispel some myths. And I don't know, if you liking the podcast, be sure to rate, be sure to share, be sure to like, subscribe. on whatever platform you're on, especially if you're on YouTube. Definitely leave me a comment. I want to know what you think about everything that's been going on so far. I'll do my best to get back with you. And yeah, I'm going to talk to y'all next week. Y'all have a good day.